Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. So I watched the hour and 50-minute interview between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. This was John Cena's very first interview or podcast post retirement, and he did it on Cody Rhodes' podcast. They did it at Cody Rhodes' school, the Nightmare Factory in Atlanta, and it was an awesome conversation. An hour and 50 minutes. It was an awesome conversation, a lot of insights. You're getting deeper and deeper into sort of John Cena's psyche, the way he thinks about things, how he structures matches, his mental process, how he frames things, and also you get an inside look on what actually being a top guy looks like in WWE. It isn't just the main event match or the WrestleMania match, it's everything that goes into it. The 3 a.m. workout, the press tour, the interview, the commercial, the podcast, the this, the that, everything that goes into being a top guy in WWE or a top girl, kind of like Rhea Ripley and things like that. But what Cody Rhodes wants to be, quarterback one, is what John Cena was for 23 straight years. And you can see how grateful and appreciative Cody Rhodes is of John Cena. They traveled together. Cody Rhodes drove him around. He learned from John Cena. He wants to basically take John Cena's spot as the top babyface in the company, and he has for a couple years since he sort of finished the story with Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes has been the quarterback of WWE because he is a full-timer. He shows up. He does the work. Regardless of if you like Cody Rhodes or not, that's sort of irrelevant. The guy is an absolute workhorse and loves the WWE and puts his heart and soul into everything that he does. And so if you're a fan of John Cena or Cody Rhodes, I really encourage you to go and watch that full conversation. It's really, really cool. And one thing that absolutely stood out to me was John Cena talking about how he approaches a match. And what he learned in his 23 years of putting together matches is that John Cena mostly calls matches on the fly. What does that mean? In terms of wrestling terminology, that means in the ring, John Cena is calling the match. You can hear him talking. If you're in the arena, the microphones pick him up. John Cena is calling spots and moves and movement and timing, all of this stuff while it's happening in the ring, because the best piece of advice that John Cena ever got in terms of putting together great matches was listening to the audience. And so John Cena has molded that into, let's have a conversation with the audience. And you can see it in his last match with Gunther, with the smile and going away peacefully and all those types of things. But that is how John Cena has approached wrestling and creating moments in wrestling over the last 23 years. And that's sort of the old school mentality. There wasn't much called back in the day. Maybe if there was a dangerous move or there was some run-ins or things of that nature, those were planned, those were called, everyone was on the same page. But when you got in the ring, it was sort of a feel type of thing. It was a call it on the fly. It was like, let's hear what the audience has and let's give them exactly what they want. And now that sort of went away for a little while when the independents and ROH and things of that nature started doing a lot of spots and cool moves and intricate sequences and all this types of stuff. And that's sort of the new school mentality, is like kind of fast-paced, move. And there never seems to be anything for it to digest. And so I think the best wrestlers in the world now currently incorporate new school and old school, and they jumble them together. That's what I think is the best. Now, old school, you're going to find some great matches, some sort of walk and talk, really slow-paced, methodical type matches where they do just basically all the stuff at the very end, where they just trade false finishes back and forth. That's really the John Cena sort of WWE main event style, right? And when you get to the sort of the back end of the match, it's just like trading finishes over and over. Kick out, no. Something, kick out, no. Something, kick out, no. And that's sort of the old school mentality, is like that pacing, right? A real main event lasts 30, 45 minutes. Now, it's different for an opening match or a middle match, or depending on the time you have, but sort of the structure of the match is really all the same. You're going to have an opening, you're going to have the entrances, you're going to have some opening shine from the babyface, you're going to have a cutoff from the heel, you're going to have a little heat, and then you're going to have a comeback, and then you're going to go into a finish. That's the basic formula for a professional wrestling match, and normally the old school way of it is just walk and talk through it. Listen to the audience, feel the crowd, understand the pacing, and then execute to the best of their ability. And then the new school is like a lot of planning, a lot of calling spots, a lot of intricate sequences, cooler moves, more athleticism, more faster paced. And I think there can be great matches in both. I'm of the train of thought where I think the best matches and the best wrestlers combine both those schools of thought. I love the John Cena insight, which he shared on the podcast, is like listening to the audience, having a conversation. As someone who hosts a podcast and has conversations all the time, the space where I'm actually present and listening and using that pause as a way to let the information digest in my brain is the same way that the audience can digest the information they just saw by having a pause in the match. And so some new school stuff, they don't ever get that break. It's just bop, 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 and then they're like, oh my God, that was holy shit, how that was so cool. And then the match is over, and they don't remember any moments from the match. If you ask any professional wrestling fan on the planet, they can tell you their favorite moment in professional wrestling because it made them feel something. And not a lot of times in these new school matches do you feel that. And so what John Cena is trying to teach these young guys is that you can combine both. John Cena fully understands that the business has evolved. He's wrestled guys like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, who I think do an incredible job of combining the old school and the new school. And John Cena had to learn that sort of pacing while being able to stand with those guys in the ring and combine that with the old school to give you some of these great, fantastic matches he's had over the last 23 years, and especially in the farewell tour with Logan Paul and with AJ Styles and things of that, and Dominic Mysterio and things of that nature. And so I think there's never going to be one way to skin a cat. There's always going to be a bunch of different ideas that could produce a great match, and fans are always going to feel something different than other fans, so they could love this match or hate this match, and it could have all the pieces of a great match, but some fans could just not react to it. So you never know. Once you put your art out into the world, it's not your art anymore. That's what John Cena also said in the interview with Cody Rhodes. And then so I think when we're thinking about today's day and age of professional wrestling, the best, most impactful matches that we see that have an actual investment from the crowd in an emotional storytelling way is they combine the old school, sort of slow, methodical, let the digest, have a conversation with the audience, with the new school, sort of faster pace, high sequencing, good type of spots that really garner all of the audiences together into one. And it was just a really cool conversation between Cody and John to see how they put together that match, what John Cena thinks about, what John Cena thought about Gunther and his whole farewell tour. And, you know, John Cena has this very process-oriented mindset where he's thinking about what's most important now, and I think that's a brilliant way to look at it. All the great athletes look at it that way, and he's like very acceptant of reality. He's like, well, what if The Rock and Travis Scott were there, but they weren't, and what we got was great because that's what we got. We got Logan Paul, and we got Dominic Mysterio, and we got AJ Styles, and we wouldn't have able to do any of that if The Rock and Travis Scott were there and involved. So everything works out the way it's supposed to work out. You just got to climb the hill in front of you. Cody Rhodes and John Cena said that over and over and over again, and that's sort of a metaphor for life. You have to climb the hill in front of you. So I encourage you to go check out that podcast episode. I think it has over 1 million views at this point, so a lot of people have checked it out, but I found it very insightful and cool, and there's a lot of interesting information. But what do you think? Is new school, old school better? Is the combination better? What do you like in terms of watching matches? Please let me know in the comments down below, and then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.